Welcome back to the IEM qualifiers, guys. I would just like to extend a sincere apology on my behalf for being a filthy casual, but also on Katz's behalf for never seeing Field of Dreams, guys. So I hope that you who are watching can forgive both of us. But getting into the game here, it's going to be a brand new best of 3. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map is going to be none other than the Red Zerg player Hyun.
Already slightly favored by spawns, I would say.
No, man, the other ones are better.
For Zerg?
Yeah.
How
Then they
so?
take the gold. What do you do against the gold? You can't take the gold as Protoss. They take the gold, you die. What do you do?
You could put a stalker there. Yeah.
And then they have speedlings. Imagine if they take hatch gas pool, right? And they take the hatchery at the gold.
Alright.
And then they take
Yeah,
another
that's not how
hatch.
the world
And then
works now.
that's really annoying, man. And then they go into Hydras, because Hydras are really good in those positions. Because you can't defend your wall properly. You have to stand in the open, and then your third dies as well. Then Muta's flying in your base while he's building Swarm Host. How do you beat that?
Well, it depends. Are there broodlords hatching as well on their natural at the same time to harass it? Or
Corruptor's on the way. Corruptor's on the way.
Corruptors, alright.
Well, guys, as much as I love your Theorycraft, I just want to quickly introduce the player at the top right corner of the map. It's the barcode, but please understand this is, of course, Hero. Put that on the overlay. Hopefully it's a little bit easier for you guys to notice that are watching.
Yeah,
but I love how
this one's gone.
you guys both came into this so charged and pissed with vinegar, like ready to debate the map. It just came out right away. Like there was no prompting it either. Like Hars was just basically like, "Fuck the gold." Like as soon as we log into the map. So some
yeah, but
strong
I think
feelings.
the gold is like there's a lot to understand about the gold as a Zerg player. Like you have to transfer drones or not transfer drones, and then your main gets oversaturated. If you transfer drones, you're losing mining time. It's pretty tough to manage a gold. You have limited options. Like there are timings that the Protoss can abuse, and more than that, it has a lifespan where it's hard to take a third and saturate it at the same time. So even if you play a macro game, it's not necessarily overwhelmingly favored for the Zerg. I mean, the gold doesn't produce more minerals than a fully saturated normal base. It's just it produces it with less workers. So I don't know. I think there's a lot to understand about the gold. That's just it's not as good as people make it out to be.
Well, I just found it interesting because I definitely think the gold base comes to like a really heavy effect if this is the other spawn locations. I mean, it's obviously still going to affect the map one way or the other if you get to take it, but it's interesting that you guys managed to jump on that so quickly on these particular spawns.
Yeah. I mean, I like the spawns for Zerg, though, because the third is wide open for the Protoss, and the natural, if they wanted to go for something kind of cheesy, kind of like what Hyun is doing. He's getting very quick speed. You can sometimes abuse this little ramp and get in there before the Protoss can wall off. It's not going to be the case this game.
Well, at least it's just kind of going around the backside for now. I don't know if Rain's the type, or sorry, not Rain, sorry, Rain of the Brain. I don't know if Hero's the type of guy to get caught off guard by this, but I know I've definitely cast a couple of games where Hyun's very intentionally done the take the rocks down and tried to do it in sneaky manners. So curious to see if he'll try and pull that here versus Hero.
No,
That would be cool.
so. Maybe with roaches later on.
Yeah, well, obviously not with Lings. If he does with Lings, I'll see you in 10 years, guys. So it takes forever to
Yeah, I
take
would
on
say
these
this
rocks.
map as well as King Sejong Station are two maps that are good for Hyun's kind of style, where he just gets a lot of units and runs around. I would have thought for Su as well, but he ended up losing on King Sejong.
Yeah, but Su plays it different. Yeah, he goes Ling Roach and then into Muta, or Ling Roach into Infestor. Like he only gets the Ling Roach. My man Hyun though, he goes Roach Hydra or just pure Roach. Like he's not a big Ling guy, is he? Normally he'll sometimes get like a yeah, he likes roaches and hydras, and they punch very hard if they're in big numbers.
Yeah, he makes them work as well. He really likes tunneling claws and upgrades like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other upgrades like that. He likes tunneling claws.
I think it's got some cool effects. I mean, really, if there's one thing objectively speaking here, balance aside, there's not a lot of cool stuff that happens in StarCraft 2, and Tunneling Claws is certainly one of them. You see like 11 force fields go down, bam, there's the burrow, shark attack underneath the sentries at the Immortals. It's always fun to watch, and Hyun is kind of the king of roaches, so it'd be interesting to see if he can pull it out.
He's excellent at that. Yeah, whenever I try to do that, it just doesn't work. There's 3 Immortals trading at your roaches, and they all die before they unburrow, but Hyun makes it work somehow.
Yeah. Actually, I casted the sickest base trade with Hyun back on, I think it was Yansu or something. It ended up being like he had to burrow through underneath like 11 Immortals to kill the last extractor, and he like barely managed to do it. It was so sick. Hyun's definitely done some of the coolest stuff with roaches I've ever seen.
Hyun only gets 1 spore, doesn't he? He doesn't really care about the phoenixes. It's
Well,
like,
he's so close to
spore.
Hydras. I mean,
I actually prefer that, to be honest. I mean, the second spore is an extra drone, and you know that's 125 minerals that you're investing into a spore that's realistically not gonna stop the Phoenix or do much. Like the Phoenix don't give a shit anyway.
well, I think it fits the style of like, you know, you take someone like Snoot, right, who's gonna go swarm most of the like
just
static
look
D,
at them,
but-
Rifkin.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
look
looking
at
at him.
Do they look like they give a shit?
No, not in the
They're
slightest.
coming in again, and there go your drones. You think it would have mattered if there was 5 spores here? Nah, man.
Well, that's just what I'm
No.
saying though. Like some Zerg players, like the sport pods actually play to their late game strategy pretty well. So I mean, sometimes the two actually, it's more than just simply defending against the initial Phoenix. But yeah, the cost investment is quite high. The problem is though, like if you do go for Hydras fast, sometimes you know if they get funneled out like 1 or 2 at a time, you see them get picked off as well. So like there's no like, okay, this just absolutely fucks Phoenixes over type strategy. But of course, everyone's got their different flavor for what makes it work. Actually, that's
again, I really
Hive.
prefer just adding like 3 queens instead of 3 extra spores, and then with the mobility of those, you get potentially 6 queens just chasing the phoenixes and preventing drones from dying for the exact same cost that a spore would, that an extra spore per base would cost you. So I'm not sure why. Well, not the exact same. It's maybe 75 minerals more, but
Yeah, but you also get more creep spread.
yeah, you get more creep spread, and you get fighting units if they all in, or for later on, So I think it's much better. But again, I don't know why most Zergs prefer the 2 spores, or in Hyun's case, just the 1 spore.
Yeah, well, Hyun doesn't care.
Cool.
He just wants to
Catches
get
another Phoenix.
his unit as quickly,
Yeah, Hyun don't care.
Yeah, nice little
Yeah,
snipes. Takes a 4th what's going on too, because if there's one thing Phoenixes can't do, it's lift up a building. So
Yeah, I actually think Hero's in a very good spot right now. He killed 13 drones. It really delayed actually everything that Hyun can do. And Hyun is going for Roach Hydra Viper timing, or maybe just a... Yeah, I think it's gonna be Roach Hydra Viper, right? Where's the Roach Warren? That's on the way now.
I mean,
Yeah.
he can have the roaches after. That's what I do as well when I go Roach Hydra and they get Phoenix. Get the Hydras out first, and Hydras are still very good. If there's gateway timings, you just go Hydra Ling and you can defend with that.
Yeah, I think Hyun is in quite a bad spot. His supply isn't very high, and when you go Roach Hydra Viper, you need to have very high supply and kinda, run him over. But I don't see that happening with Hyun. He has a decent drone count, so I guess he'll switch into something else after this, maybe Muta.
I think he's gonna go mass roaches now. I think his supply is gonna jump out a lot pretty soon. Look at his bank. So he's still going for the timing. I'm curious to see what the transition is gonna be though. I wouldn't go Muta. I prefer Bridler transitions or even Storm Host sometimes. So we'll see what Hyun prefers. Maybe he just all in on the Roach Hydra Viper.
well, I'm loving the Storm Tech coming out of Hero here. I think that's gonna work out really nicely. Colossus is always a little bit scary because you get
now
abducted.
Muta are an option. Yeah.
This was so bad.
Yeah, I agree. 5 Phoenix for a queen. So yeah.
And he didn't even get the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible. Now Mura definitely is a solid transition, but first Hero actually has to hold this. He's getting 3 more cannons. He already has 4 High Templar. Storm almost completed. I think if he stalls with a few force fields on the ramp, he should be able to hold relatively easily, but yeah, I think he should be fine. There's not a lot of roaches, and Hydras die pretty quickly against Storm. He'll be able to feedback everything. And
Yeah,
he still
very
has 3
smartly
Colossus.
he's making salads as well instead of stalkers. Oh wow, no! That's
Oh, you
not supposed
abducted
to
too
happen.
much. You got way too greedy. The Storm's coming to the top of the army now too. Ugh. Awkward spore call
Yeah,
is
he
awkward,
didn't have the
but
roaches there, it seems. His army looks really small. So perhaps, yeah, too preemptive of an abduct. I think if he just abducted 1 Colossus, maybe
killed
2,
it. Yeah,
even
like
doing
one.
it again.
Yeah, like if you abduct the one, kill it, then abduct the second one after. It's so funny watching like 3 get abducted at once because usually all 3 will get away. There's just not enough DPS to split between them like that. But
yeah, especially with that small of an army. But I think the biggest thing that Hyun wasn't taking into account was Hero's unit composition, because it's charge slots where you would usually be facing more stalkers on the ground. So I mean that made a huge difference. The charge slots, they don't care about blinding cloud if that's what happens, which is oftentimes a good option. You know, if the Templars are already out, because blinding cloud is easier to pull off. Oh,
yeah, I don't think
rip right here.
I like the Archons as well, definitely helping out big time with that DPS. Now an Immortal waddles to the front lines, and Hyun, as much as maybe the king of roaches aren't really going to save him, not against this composition.
Yeah, I still feel like Hero is being kind of risky with his movement. He can't just wait, he's playing against Roach Hydra. There's no reason to really be out there. I guess he's doing very well for himself, but it felt, I don't know, a bit scary, man.
This Void Ray
I don't know, I
secret...
think because he's wasting zealots more than anything, it's fine. Like, he already got the upgrades for the zealots and the charge, so trading in zealots, I think it's fine almost no matter what, no?
Yeah, I guess, but if Hyun would have waited, like, he added, like, let's say 40 seconds ago, he suddenly was at like 170 supply, but then he started trading like 5 roaches for a zealot, which isn't very good trade. I think if he would have waited for that, he could have given him a pretty decent fight here. He still has the 2 Vipers alive, and he could have like abducted 1 Archon out or something like that. And Archons are really, really bad against a lot of roaches.
There's some messy storms going down here, because his army starts dwindling down, but the roaches are still just such a big punch here. This Void Ray though, seriously, like... might have gained the killing blows, but yeah.
There's a tunneling clause.
Warping onto the 4th/3rd, so that's gonna go down here in a moment too. He had just transferred a bunch of drones. It's gonna be very sad that he did.
Yeah, he can burrow those drones if he realizes he has burrow.
He's using burrow on top of the Immortal. Does actually manage to take it out. Hyun, yeah, he's gonna still tap out, but made the best of that defense.